Jeremy Veldin, hope you're having a good summer so far. Had a good summer. I took the kids to Nashville Shores, had a good 4th of July, went to the Texas Star Party for the first time back in May. So it's been a good summer. And here we are, early August. Hard to believe, but we're about 2 months away now from the annular eclipse. And this is the first of two solar eclipses that are coming in within the next 8 to 10 months. Annular in the fall, October 14th. And then, of course, the big one is April 8th, 2024. That's a total solar eclipse. We'll talk more about that one in a future video, but really want to kind of focus on the annular since we're only 2 months away. So just to kind of recap here, again, an annular eclipse is coming on October 14, 2023 to the United States. And an eclipse occurs, a solar eclipse occurs when the moon gets between the Earth and the sun in a very rare alignment, or what we call syzygy in astronomy terms. Now, we don't get eclipses every time there's a new moon or a full moon because the plane of the moon's orbit around the Earth is tilted at a 5-degree angle with respect to the plane of the Earth's orbit around the sun. And where those two planes intersect, you have what are called lunar nodes. And those nodes need to line up with a new moon phase in order to get a solar eclipse. Now, the other thing is the moon does not orbit the Earth in a perfect circle. It's slightly elliptical. And when it's closer, it's at perigee. And when it's further away, it's at apogee. Now, when the moon is at perigee and it's new and you have an alignment of nodes, you get a total solar eclipse, which is what we're going to have in April. When the moon is at apogee or further out, then you get an annular eclipse because the moon is further out in its orbit and it doesn't completely block the disk of the sun. So to show this in a diagram, again, and when the moon is at apogee, further out in its orbit from Earth, then the moon's shadow doesn't completely make it to the Earth's surface. So you get this antumbra. And what that does is it causes the moon's disk to not completely cover the sun's disk, and you get this annulus or ring. Annulus being I think the Latin term for ring, hence the term annular eclipse. So we're going to see something like this on October 14th. Now, it's not quite as spectacular as a total solar eclipse. Basically, an annular eclipse is a glorified partial. However, what makes this eclipse so interesting is the location and timing. So October 14, again, middle of October, beautiful month, fall, on a Saturday. And many of you, if you have young kids, maybe you can get them out of school for fall break or maybe a weekend trip. And look where the path of annularity goes. I mean, some just spectacular spots, both in New Mexico, southern Utah, arguably, in my opinion, maybe the most spectacular scenery in the country, and then Nevada. So we'll talk about Nevada in a second. Where am I going to be for the annular eclipse? So I am going to be in Ely, Nevada. Not necessarily my first choice. However, I have been contracted with NASA and Exploratorium to do a live broadcast of the annular eclipse, both on television and via YouTube. So don't have all the details yet. Stay tuned for more as they come in. But basically, I'm going with a team to Ely for a few days to set up and do a live feed of the eclipse. So that's my location, Ely, Nevada. Now, if you're looking for a spot to view this eclipse, you've got some really interesting choices, and I'll show you kind of what those are here in just a second. But let me show you some resources that you can use when you're kind of planning and maybe preparing for this eclipse. So I mentioned a few websites last time. Here's one that I'm kind of digging into a little bit further. This is eclipse2024.org. And this is Dan McGlan's website, and he has done some really phenomenal work here in gathering and preparing resources for both eclipses, the annular in the fall, and then, of course, the total in next April. Let's see, look here, all the different links he has and all the information. Whether you're looking to learn about eclipses, whether you're looking to get eclipse glasses, learn about eye safety, photograph the eclipse, just anything you want to know. So let's go ahead and click on the annular eclipse link that he's got here. And again, this is eclipse2024.org. and kind of bring this site up here. And you can see here the path of annularity beginning in Western Oregon, going through Northern Nevada, Southern Utah, across New Mexico and Texas. And if you go down here, he's got a couple of different links here that are kind of interesting. So I'm going to click on 2023 Eclipse Simulator videos. Brings up a separate link here. And what you can do is bring up an interactive map. If you click on this link right here, again, we'll focus on the 2024 eclipse later. Let's just look at the 2023 annular eclipse. So if I click on this link here, it brings up an interactive map, and I can zoom in on my location. And it's got all these different dots, for lack of a better term. But let's go to where I'm going to be, which is going to be, let's see here. I'm going to be in Ely, Nevada. So let's say I'm kind of planning this and I want to see what I'm going to see, what's going to look like in Ely, Nevada. So if I zoom in here to Ely, hover my mouse over this red dot, you see it brings up a separate window, and I have the option to see the eclipse. I can see a video simulation of what this eclipse will look like in Ely. Turns out Dan's got a YouTube channel, and he's got a disclaimer here. There's sound with this video. You can see it brings up just basically a very simple 1 minute video. If I pause it here, Ely, Nevada, you got my latitude and my longitude, October 14. And if I go forward here, it's got another disclaimer here. It's a free educational tool. I'm not going to read all this. You can if you want to. But you can see here. Let me back it up here a minute. He's also got QR codes here for ordering eclipse glasses, as well as instructions on how to use those. Talk about that in a minute. And then he talks briefly about the duration of annularity from this location. So I'm going to get approximately 3 minutes and 44 seconds when I go to Ely, Nevada. And then he shows a video here of what it's going to look like in Ely. You can kind of see here how high the sun is going to be. This is sped up, of course, several times. About what time annularity occurs, about 9:24 in the morning, Pacific Daylight Time, October 14, 2023. What it will look like in the sky, and then approximately how high it will be. So, again, it's a very simple 1 minute video. So he's got a YouTube channel with a wealth of information here, and basically videos for every location that you want to see this particular eclipse. So now another thing you can do, getting back to the eclipse simulator on his website, again, eclipse2024.org, is he actually has a simulator. So let's bring that up and see what it looks like here. So now I'm looking at, again, around the time that first contact would begin, Ely, Nevada, here's my latitude, my longitude. The sun at roughly 8:06 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, PDT, is about 15 degrees in the sky. So let's go ahead and click play here. Now this is real time, so seconds are ticking down in real time as the eclipse is beginning. If you want to speed this up, you got a speed dial here in the lower left. So I can actually speed that up, several times here. And you can see here time is now passing much more quickly. Now I can zoom in to the sun and see what it looks like. Now, if I were looking through a telescope or solar filtered binoculars, you can see here kind of what first contact would look like around 8:16, 8:17, and then what the sun is actually doing. I can zoom out here. You got the option for glare. Obviously, the sun is not going to be a disk. It's going to look something more like this without it filtered. You can see how high it is up in the sky. I can choose whatever scene I want. So I'm going to be in Nevada, and it may look more like, it may look more like this, or it may look more like this from my location. I guess it'd be more like this, maybe some slight mountains. But depending on your location, you can select whatever scene you want. And I can also move time forward just with this cursor right here. I can see the sun moving, and I can see what's happening as the moon is covering the disk of the sun, and I'm getting close to full annularity. So, and you can see that the sky is darkening slightly. It's not a total eclipse, But even an annular eclipse, it's going to block out some of the sunlight. It'll still be bright, like daylight. It won't get dark like night during a total eclipse. But notice what I see here. I can kind of see as I zoom in here what my, when you get to full annularity, assuming you're in the path, what it's going to look like when the moon covers the disk of the sun. And I can, again, move time forward or backward as I like to and just kind of play with this and get an idea of what I'm going to see from Ely, Nevada. So pretty slick little tool here. So again, now talk about this more in a second here, but let's just say hypothetically you wanted to target a spot in southern Utah. Capitol Reef is near the center line here. Let's just pick a spot. Okay, the Great Escalante staircase. So again, he has a simulation video, or you can just bring up the Eclipse simulator. And again, if you're in Utah and the eclipse is beginning a little later in the morning, 9 o'clock. So let's go ahead and speed time forward here. And we can see what it's doing. But one thing to consider if you're planning Utah is obstructions. So here again is where, depending on where you are, your terrain could be a factor. And whether it's going to obstruct your view if the sun is lower in the sky. So, yeah, I'm just kind of playing around with this simulator here and getting an idea. I'll probably look more like that again. I'm looking for cliffs and canyons. If you were in a scene like this, and most of you won't be, but if you had mountains that could be blocking the horizon, or I guess if you were on a lake, it might look like that. If you were somewhere where you had grasslands or prairies and it was flat, that'd be ideal for, this particular eclipse, because it's a morning eclipse and the sun's going to be lower in the sky. But for our purposes, if you are in Utah, I'd probably look more something like this. Well, hard to simulate that part of the country because it's got cliffs and canyons. And anyway, yeah, but something to think about. If you're going to be in a spot where you've got either mountains or cliffs or other terrain that could be higher up, it may obstruct your view of the sun during this particular time. So again, this is Boulder, Utah in this particular simulator. And I'm moving time forward. You can see how the sun moves. It rises in the sky, and again, around full annularity, 10:27 in the morning. And if I zoom in, there you can see what the full annularity looks like. And we'll look at one more here, because a lot of you watching this are probably going to be, I'm guessing, somewhere in Texas or maybe New Mexico. Let's just say Midland, all right? Midland, Texas, very close to the center line for full annularity. All right, so let's look at the eclipse simulator here for Midland, Texas. Now notice that the sun is a little bit higher up in the sky than it was in Nevada, and that it starts around 10:17 in the morning. So again, we'll move time forward here, speed it up, let's change our terrain to something more realistic for Texas. Maybe it's like that. You can see again, we zoom in here, what first contact looks like around 10:26, 10:27. Yeah, let's call it 10:20 when it starts. We zoom out and we move forward in time. You can see how the sun rises. And as we get close to full annularity, we zoom in, we can see what we can see here. Well, that's a nice ring. So for those of you in Midland, Texas, or any of those spots closer to the center line of annularity, you're going to see should see a very nice ring, nice almost symmetrical ring, if you will, again, of the moon's disk covering the photosphere, almost covering the full photosphere of the sun. But you get the annularity, or the ring, the annulus, if you will, or the ring. And you can see how much higher up the sun is in Texas than it would be in either Nevada or some of the other spots further west. So anyway, check out that website. It is, let me share again. It is again, eclipse2024.org. And there is just a ton of information on this website about how to prepare for this eclipse, how to order material, whether it's eyeglasses, some tips on eye safety, planning for the weather. And again, you got the simulator. You also have community information. So let's say I want to click on Eclipse 2023 and I want to go to a specific spot where I may view this eclipse. So what I can do is go to the Eclipse community pages here. And all right, so I'm going to be in Nevada. So I'll click on Nevada. I'm going to be in Ely. Where's Ely? Ely is right there. And you can see here the information that it brings up on Ely. And I can get the detailed eclipse information for Ely here. And I can actually see what it looks like. I got a little video here. First contact is just after 8 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Daylight Time. You can see how the sun moves across, or the moon moves across the disk as it's eclipsing the sun, again, from Ely. And then what it's going to look like throughout the morning. So we're going to be early risers to capture this one. And it'll basically be a morning eclipse for us in Ely. You can also see, different data here: latitude, longitude, when first contact begins, 8:07 a.m. When second contact begins, which is essentially full annularity, about 9:23 in the morning. Our duration is going to be about 3 minutes and 44 seconds. And then our altitude and our azimuth, 27 degrees above the horizon. And of course, you got a little simulation there. So, yeah, pretty good little web. Pretty good. This is a great resource here. Again, eclipse2024.org, whether you're planning for the annular or you're planning for the total eclipse in April. So now again, if you don't have a spot yet and you may have some time, I would recommend Utah if you can get out here. This road from Blanding to Torrey is maybe the most spectacular part of road that I've ever been on. And you see just some magnificent scenery, mile after mile. When you're driving this 200-mile stretch from essentially Blanding, just south of where the Arches and Canyonlands is located in Moab, all the way to Torrey, which is where Capitol Reef is located. And then you can take the trip down the Escalante staircase. You go past just, again, mile after mile of spectacular scenery. There's maybe sensory overload as you're taking this trip. I mean, it is just magnificent, magnificent country. So, but it provides some pretty unique photo opportunities if you're looking to photograph the eclipse, whether you're doing landscape stuff, or of course, if you're zooming in on the disk of the sun and trying to get some pictures there. But yeah, if you haven't planned specifically yet, then Utah may be a good spot to consider. New Mexico also. Look at all the places that are in the path of annularity. Roswell, you get pretty close to 4 minutes and 30 seconds of annularity. Of course, Albuquerque being the big one, right near the center line, with the balloon fiesta coming up every year. Now this one's going to be really crowded, so it may be a little late now to plan for this, but they do have an annular solar eclipse event scheduled at 9:15 a.m. on their website, just after the chainsaw carving exhibition, which I find appropriate for October. But check out their website, and if anybody goes to this and views the annular eclipse, by all means, let me know. I'd be very curious to know what your experience is. I was thinking of going to this, but of course, now that the Ely plan is in place, that's where I'm going to be. So I'll be curious to know if anybody goes here and what they experience. Okay, eye safety, very important. if you're going to view this eclipse, there is no time during the annular eclipse where you'll be able to view it with your naked eye, unlike the total. You got to have eye protection throughout the entire eclipse. Absolutely essential. Now, we do have ISO certified eclipse glasses with our Memphis Astronomical Society logo on it. And these are available if you're in the Memphis area and you go to any of our live events, whether it's our in-person meetings or some of our outreach events. I'm giving a presentation next week or the week after to the Memphis Camera Club. And so anybody there will have the opportunity to pick these up for free. Got a lot of pair of these glasses. So if you're in the Memphis area or you're close and you come to one of our live events, then you can actually, get several pair of these if you'd like. Another tool that I like for viewing eclipses or anything solar are, again, these Lunt Sunoculars, and these are solar filtered binoculars. These are really slick. So not only for eclipses, but for viewing sunspots. And I got a few pair of these, and these are great also. The only downside is you got to hold them steady, but these really zoom in on the disk of the sun, and you can see sunspots, and you can see, again, the shadow of the moon moving across the disk of the sun. And these are really, really great resource. So let me kind of show you where you can get those. Well, you can order the solar glasses at eclipseglasses.com. And this is my buddy John Jarrett's website. And he owns American Paper Optics. It's a company right here in Memphis where you can get these solar eclipse glasses. And if we go to his website, I want to show one other thing here. So this is, again, eclipseglasses.com. And this is by American Paper Optics. Now, another tool that they have that I'm eager to try out is this Solar Snap app for your iPhone. And I haven't tried it yet. I'm planning to pick this up soon and give it a shot, but it looks pretty simple. And it basically just snaps on over the camera part of your iPhone, filters out the sun, and you can take pictures or video of the partial phases or maybe even the corona of the sun. Again, I haven't tried it yet, but it looks pretty interesting. $12.99 on his website. So I would recommend picking that up also, maybe a few of these if you're planning to photograph this with your iPhone. I'm very eager to check this out. So this looks interesting. Now, if you go to Michael Zeiler's website, this is greatamericaneclipse.com, and you go to the store, he's got basically links for everything you need, whether it's eclipse glasses, field guides, eclipse swag like t-shirts. He's got maps. He does have a link to the Solar Snap app also. And you can actually order the Sunoculars that I was talking about. So here are the Lunt Sunoculars. I went ahead and bought all 4 pair for the last eclipse back in 2017. So I've got the red, the yellow, the black, the blue, and I may pick up another pair or 2 of these. It's nice to have a few extra pair in case you're out viewing this eclipse, especially the annular, and you may have other people around who want to see it. So it's nice if everybody's got their own pair of binoculars. So you may not want to spend, depending on what your budget is, but yeah, certainly one pair. If you get a couple of different pair, that would be great. And again, I may pick up a few more, but check out this website too. This is greatamericaneclipse.com. Again, this is a great resource to learn more about solar eclipses. Talked about that. And then this is that website again. So, and again, Mr. Eclipse, this is Fred Espinak's website, mreclipse.com. And this is where you can go to just get information about any eclipse really going forward. So not only this eclipse, but if you're planning well into the future, you can check out this website. And again, he's got interactive maps. Here's the Google map of the annular eclipse coming up, so we can zoom in and really get into some detail here about where and when. So let's just say hypothetically, some of you may be in Texas. Maybe you're near San Antonio. Let's just click on San Antonio. So these times are universal times. So you got to do the calibration for central time. But you can see here when the partial phase begins, when annularity begins, you subtract out, 5 hours, I think, for central daylight time. from universal time to central daylight time. And if you're in San Antonio, you get about 4 minutes and 21 seconds of duration during annularities. So that is really good. And of course, again, depending on where you want to be, you can plan when it starts, how long it's going to be, when it ends, and just kind of, basically plan in advance. So this is mysteryeclipse.com. And again, you can see this path, but and there's this page also. But anyway, just another quick video here as we're planning. I'm playing around with this website. I thought this one was really slick and worth sharing. That's eclipse2024.org, Dan McGlan's website. He should have everything you need on this website to prepare for the annular and the total, as well as all the resources you need. So whether it's, again, glasses, weather, books, photography, how to photograph an eclipse. And yeah, this is a really slick little website, as well as an eclipse simulator. So I thought that was really great. All right, eclipse glasses, again, sun oculars. You can get those from greatamericaneclipse.com. Pick up a pair or two of those. Here are some websites. Again, Mystery Eclipse or Eclipse Wise. These are Fred Espinak's websites. GreatAmericanEclipse.com. That's Michael Zeiler's website. Check that one out. Eclipse glasses. That's John Jarrett and American Paper Optics for ordering solar eclipse glasses. But again, guys, if you're in Memphis, you go to one of our events, we got them. Pick them up for free. Got several pair of these. So you come to a Memphis Astronomical Society in-person meeting, come to one of our outreach events. We do some observing events around town. I got to remember to bring those. So we'll have them there as well. We still got some time. It's only August. We got 2 months. And then, of course, Dan's site is eclipse2024.org. That's a really slick little site. So that's a great resource also. But bottom line is it's August. It's hot. We're winding down the summer, getting ready for fall. Kids are going back to school, football season. Time gets away, and we're 2 months away. Hard to believe, 2 months away from the annular eclipse of October 14, 2023, if you're interested in seeing it. Again, I'll be in Ely. We'll be doing a live feed. Details are coming to me hot and heavy right now. I'll share them as I get them, as well as location, and then also where we're going to be broadcasting. I'm kind of learning as I go on this, relying on my team heavily for the technical aspects of it. But this should be a good show. I've never seen an annular eclipse. This will be my first one. My first and only total eclipse was the August 21, 2017 total solar eclipse from 6 years ago. So we have a unique opportunity to see 2 solar eclipses in the next 8 months. So we got the annular in October, and then of course the big one is the total in April. We'll talk more about that on a future video. But for right now, stay tuned. Start planning. Got some great options for October 14, 2023. Check out those websites, and yeah, share your details. I'm very curious to see what your experiences are going to be, especially as we get closer to and past the actual event of the annular eclipse. Should be some spectacular photo opportunities. And if you got the opportunity to get the day off of work, well, it's on a Saturday. You can plan a weekend vacation, maybe get the kids out of school. Maybe they're out of school for fall break. Then, yeah, of course, you may have to travel if you want to get right in the path of annularity. But some pretty interesting options coming up. So stay tuned. T-minus 2 months. Annular solar eclipse, October 14, 2023. Jeremy Veldman. See you guys in the next video.